is brought to you by CatBeast.com. Design your own custom snapbacks and hats.
We're testers.
Yo, what's good guys? This is Nightwing2303 from WearTesters.com. Today we got the performance review on these guys right here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. So the traction on these guys is as good as it looks. These things are beastly. Basically with this setup, you have complete linear coverage from front to back with that aggressive herringbone that actually is encompassing the entire outsole. And then all of your lateral movements are covered with these two colored areas on the ball of the foot as well as the lateral outrigger. No matter what type of player you are, what your footwork is like, this shoe is going to give you complete traction coverage, no problem. Even in the dustiest settings, they worked really well. All I had to do was just kind of like clear out the outsole a few times and you were pretty much good to go. The rubber itself also feels fairly strong enough for outdoor use. It might not last an extremely long time, but for the time being that it does last, you're going to be receiving some really excellent traction. Now, the only area of the traction that I will complain about is right here at the center where that little X is. Right there in the middle, it's just kind of smooth. Now, while I never slipped or anything of that nature, it just kind of felt a little different because the rest of the outsole is so aggressive. You just kind of feel really stuck to the floor with every other, portion of the outsole here. But with that little section right there, for whatever reason, when it was touching the floor, and that's like right where the middle of the outsole is, so it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're always going to be on that little spot. For some reason, it just felt in my head that it was going to like cause some sort of slippage, which it never did. That's the only thing. If you're trying these on and you kind of feel the same way, don't worry. They actually provide you with excellent traction, despite what this little thing is kind of doing to your head. It's like got that placebo effect. So just ignore it and you're going to be fine. Now the cushion section of the shoe, this is where everybody likes to hate on me, saying that I'm biased or that I'm like bullshit new or whatever, but facts are facts. The shoe's got no cushion, sorry. However, if you like shoes that don't offer a lot of cushion, that they do cater towards guards that need a lot of court feel, this is that shoe. This is where listening is key, because this shoe has no cushion in the front. So some players actually like that. Do not discredit anybody's personal preferences or opinions just because they differ from yours. Some people might actually need cushion, and if you're one of those people, this is not for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's super simple. It's super cut and dry. No cushion, great court feel. However, there is a Zoom Air unit in the heel. I couldn't really feel it. If I really like pressed on that area or really tried to kind of like activate it, then yes, you could feel it a little bit, but overall it's just there. It doesn't really do much. Most of the players that are kind of using this type of court feel setup only ride on the midfoot to forefoot of the shoe anyways, so having that there is kind of like a just in case type of thing. Now right from the get-go, they feel very, very firm. However, they do break in pretty nicely, and I will say that even though there is no cushion on this shoe, the transition is so smooth from heel to forefoot that it didn't really matter. This is one of the most noticeable upgrades between the Kyrie 2 and the Kyrie 3. The Kyrie 2, it wasn't just the tooling, it was also the stiff upper, but they felt a little clunky on court, and these guys don't feel that way whatsoever. They actually feel very smooth, similarly to the Hyper Rev original. That was one of the smoothest transitions I've ever felt. Like, that was such a smooth setup, not just due to the way that the outsole and midsole was shaped, but also because they had full-length Zoom Air. Now these guys don't have full-length Zoom Air, but they feel very similar in terms of transition. Again, just super smooth. I really think that guards are going to love these things. I think that if you grab these and you weren't paying attention to a review that states that there's not much cushion in here, you might be disappointed if you're one of those players that needs some cushion. But again, if you're paying attention and you don't need cushion, you just really like court feel, because you will feel quicker with these on. You know what I'm saying? You might not be quicker, but you'll feel quicker. This is going to be that shoe for you. Now the materials on the Kyrie 3, in my personal opinion, are really where the 2 and the 3 are completely differentiating between one another. The materials here just kind of like make the shoe. I think that the way that they made the 2s, the back half was great. The strap was cool, but the whole front half of the shoe was a plastic shell with mesh glued on top of it. It was very stiff. It was pretty uncomfortable. These guys here, a lot of mesh, and it feels great. It allows the tooling to do what it was meant to do, which is move freely and more naturally. And that's what this entire setup is all about. And I just absolutely loved it. Now you do have some fuse areas right on the toe and a couple of high wear areas. They're also covering up some seams, which is fine. They don't bother you. They don't pinch, they don't bind, none of that stuff. And then this flex zone right here at the forefoot, man, like that is awesome. It flexes really nicely with the forefoot, and it just allows, like I said, the shoe to just kind of move with your foot and act freely with you. It almost feels like you're not wearing anything at all. Absolutely love it. And then the back half is still mesh, but it's coated with some Curum or rubber, and it's just for some protection. They still look pretty good, so it's doing its job. In terms of fit, I would recommend going true to size. Wide footers, you might want to go up half a size. They do fit slightly on the narrow side. Narrow enough to where I like it, not too narrow to where it's too much for me. And then lockdown, in my personal opinion, was great. I didn't have any issues from forefoot all the way to the heel. They fit my foot perfectly, and that was, again, like the material, it's just kind of one of my favorite aspects. I just think that they fit and felt really awesome. Support is just basic. You do have an internal TPU shank right here, but it's very small. It's nothing crazy or anything like that. It's a lot of stuff that you see on the team shoes. And then there also is an internal heel counter as well. Most of the support is actually coming from the base. They kind of cradle your foot. You sit in the midsole a little bit, and then you are really low to the ground. There's not a real outrigger on these guys, which you could see it's almost rounded. Not almost rounded, it's actually rounded. Stupid ass. And I actually did land on somebody's foot while wearing these, and I rolled my ankle pretty good, but I was able to keep playing. I was fine. It allowed me to roll naturally. It didn't restrict any of the movement or the motion in which you were rolling. And normally when you have that restriction, that's kind of like when things get messed up. If you're allowed to just kind of like go with the flow, then you're going to be pretty good. And that's what I was in these guys, and I was very, very happy with that because I was pissed when I landed on dude's foot. Dude was my teammate, Keith. Man, if you're watching this, get out from under my feet, bruh. But again, I was perfectly fine, and I have no complaints whatsoever, even though the overall support is pretty basic. So that pretty much takes care of it. To me personally, this is a great guard shoe. This is much better than the Kyrie 2. To reiterate though, if you need cushion, like this is not gonna be that shoe for you, you know what I'm saying? But if you do not need cushion and you really love court feel, this is probably the best shoe for that right now on the market. And the traction on these is everything, dude. Like this is one of those shoes where if you know you're going to that nasty ass court that nobody ever like has really good grip on, they're always slipping and sliding, bring this shoe with you, you should be fine. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all your support. If you need any more information, any more details, their performance scores, their weight, their price, all of that stuff's gonna be in the description box below. That link is gonna take you to weartesters.com where you can find all of that out. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think about the Kyrie 3. And until next time, guys, have a good one.